Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here, spokesman and advocate for basic human rights for all people, who has asked you, the public, to write me in as the next president of the United States of America, not because I really want to be president, but because you really need someone like me. You know, years ago, I recall talking to some kids, some students, middle school students, about the future, about prosperity, about the future of this nation and its possibilities. And I remember one of the students asked me, "Oh, but isn't that socialism?" Socialism. Now, at that time, she had basically gotten a taste of the difference between a capitalist system, a socialist system, but not really understanding what socialism meant. And the question would be in my mind today is, how many of you actually know what socialism is? You might not know what socialism is, but whatever it is in your mind is a negative thing, for sure. And the reason that it's a negative thing is because that's the information that you have been given. Socialism is negative. And why have you been told that socialism is negative? It's because we live in a system where socialism does not exist. And naturally, the system that we live under has got to be the best system that there is. That's why we live under it. At least that's the information that you've been given. But what do you think when you hear someone say, that's socialized medicine? What does socialized medicine mean? Socialized medicine basically means this, that everybody within that system have access to health care. What's wrong with everybody in your family having access to health care? Or everybody in your community, or your city, or your town, your state, your nation? What is wrong with everybody having health care? Well, if you ask any individual within that system if they needed health care, what they wanted, every last one of them would tell you yes. But then somebody came over and said that there's something wrong with health care for everyone. Who said that? You want me to tell you who said that there's something wrong with health care for everyone? It was said by the privileged. The privileged one has led you to believe that there's something wrong with everybody having health care. And why do they say that? Or what do they say? Well, what really goes on is this. The privileged have in their mindset the right to health care beyond anyone else. The right to health care beyond anyone else. Now, in America, that basically means you got the wherewithal, you got the money, you got the insurance, you got whatever it takes, but it refers to money. It used to say privilege had to do with color, which had to do with money. So it's privilege. If two people need some medical service and it's kind of limited, why should the privileged one with money, the wherewithal to pay, why should they have to suffer for some turkey over there who has no insurance, who has no money? All they have is a health care need. Well, see, to the privileged, that person doesn't matter. But to the giver of health care, everybody is entitled to health care. And when this young lady asked me, stated that what I spoke about sounded like socialism, I was wondering why she said that. Is it that socialism has been given as a failure, as I mentioned a moment ago? Yes, of course. So has communism. So have dictatorships. So have democracies. So have capitalism. All of the isms and so on and so forth, and forms of government that exist. They have all failed to produce what is desired and required by all of the people. Every last one of them got a special group, a privileged group, over in Libya right now. Gaddafi had a privileged group that he's calling to still come out with guns and fight those who have said no more. Kill them, he says, because you don't have a right to the fruits of life like everyone else. That's what Saddam Hussein said. That's what is being said in Afghanistan. That's what is being said in all the various parts of Africa. That is what is being said in the United States of America in its political season. Right now, you have people saying that the privileged should stay privileged. And everybody else who is outside of the privilege should stay outside of the privilege. That's what the privileged are saying. There are others who have said that, well, sure there's privilege here in America, but the benefits should be extended a little bit more liberal. More people should be included. But at the same time, there will be those that are left out always, because that's the way of the systems of the world. So I ask you, the American people, which of you think that you are entitled to something and someone else should not be entitled to it? If any of you identified yourselves as one who is entitled to something that someone else perhaps isn't, and I'm talking about those things that are common amongst us all, those things that are needed amongst us all: food, clothing, shelter, education, health care, careers of choice, peace, prosperity, and joy. Who amongst you are entitled to any one of those that another is not? If any of you identified yourself as one as being entitled, then you are one who are definitely not entitled. Anyone who thinks that it's okay for somebody else not to eat is not entitled to bread themselves, or a home are not entitled to home themselves, or education are not entitled to education themselves, or health care, or careers of choice. If anyone, and if you think that there's anyone who is not, then you are that one. You see, socialism, and I'm not here trying to advocate socialism, because I look at socialism as being a failure just like everything else. But there are some things that are proper. When you come to an earth that's already equipped with everything, then nothing new is going to ever come. I mean, you might rearrange some stuff and shape it up and get a picture of something that appears to be different or new. But it's all the stuff that's always been here. And those things are going to always be here, never go anywhere. Which means that nothing belongs to you or I. So for anybody to come and put their hands on something and try to claim it as theirs, or their right, or their privilege, got to be a nutcase. Well, there are plenty of nutcases in the United States of America. And you know what? Even though there is not one politician, Republican, Democrat, or other, that are offering you roads that will lead to peace, prosperity, and joy, those of you who are Republicans are on the Republican side, gloving up for a fight. Those of you who are on the Democrat side, over there gloving up for a fight. Gonna fight it out, fight it out, fight it out, when neither of you got anything relevant or successful enough or beautiful enough to offer to the American people. But that's not so bad. The real thing that's so bad about it is that the American people are supporting the system in which you have ascribed to. They're the force, the physical force behind both of them. And the sad thing, even more sad than that, is that you are being offered your dreams. You are being offered unlimited, unrestricted education and health care. You are being offered careers and choice, of choice, which these two alone, these two or three alone, will be so instrumental in creating peace, prosperity, and joy for every citizen in this nation. No poverty, no violence from crime or economic lack. None of that stuff anymore. But you, the American people, you, the people of America that love God more than anybody else in any other nation, will reject this on the heel of your privilege. Well, I'm running and asking you to write me in as President of the United States as a means to ending that individual, that group privilege, and extending it to everybody in this country. The water on this globe is for every American or everybody else who is on the globe. Same thing for the ability for food to be produced. If you produce it, it's for people to eat. If there was no one here but you, and you produce food, it would only be for you. No one here but you, and you can build a house, it would only be for you. If there are two of you that are here, one of you can build houses and one of you can produce food. It doesn't make sense for each one of you to go out there and build your own house. Well, one of you can't really build. Or grow your own food. One of you really don't know anything about it. So what is prudent is for the one who can build a house for both of you. The one who can grow food for both of you. And if there happen to be one of you amongst you, there happen to be three, one of you can make cars, then you make cars. You make cars for three people. And the one that make houses for three people. One who make food for three people. Oh, if there are 100 of you, and each of you can do 100 different things, then each of you do 100 different things for each 100 different things to meet the needs of 100 people out there. Each of you. Do it for yourself, but you only do what you can do. You do it 100 times. And make sure that 100 per people, 100 individuals, got 100 things that came from 100 different people. And after a while, with all the different people working, all of the people contributing, you can build up a reservoir of storage of goods and services that could be accessible to anyone who needs it at any time that they need it. And no one would be without. But who amongst the American public will support this idea? I mean, I do. You see, I'm here supporting it right now. But will you support it? Or will you support the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer? Will you support cutting back schools, closing schools down, increasing the number of students in the classrooms, cutting back the school week, prices continuously increasing while the wages are going down, while jobs are being shipped overseas or just dissipating? Is that what you want? If you vote for a Republican, that's what you want. If you vote for a Democrat, that's what you want. And you will walk down the street the next day or even the same evening after the voting looking at your neighbor in the face, knowing that you just slapped him upside the head with your vote. Come on, people. Come on. Bye-bye.